Uh, I wanted to present something a little bit formal from a case in the Record of Empty Hall translated by Dosho Port, the ninth case, Fengang's Old Mirror. I'll present the case, make some commentaries during it, and then I wrote 100 poetic commentaries, one for each of the cases in this collection, so I'll share the commentary I wrote for this. Hanchan asked Fengang, "The old mirror isn't polished. How can it reflect a candle?" Fengang said, "A jar of ice has no shadow. A monkey gropes for the moon in the water." Hanchan said, "This is not reflecting the candle. Please explain." Fengang said, "The 10,000 goodnesses are not in the future. What teaching can I express?" And Shutang, who collected these cases, always has a brief comment at the end. In this case, it's because I've got it. Hanshan may be known to some of you as the poet Cold Mountain. There are some translations of his work, and he had some renown for that. His teacher was Fengang. And this particular encounter is a little bit reminiscent of the poetic exchange between the head monk and Huineng on the blank wall in the monastery of the fifth patriarch when he asked if somebody could please express the teaching. And the head monk, shy to come forward in person, wrote a poem on the wall: "Body is Bodhi tree, mind is mirror stand, polish it every day, never let dust land." So that's an image exhorting continuous diligent effort, and certainly reflecting the nature of consciousness and the way we live our lives. And it's got embedded in it something that suggests that there's something to be polished and something obstructing it. And that's what caught Huineng's attention. The fifth patriarch, upon seeing this poem, commented to the assembly, "If you practice this way, you'll gain merit." So he didn't say good, he didn't say bad. He said, it's good to practice like this. And people being what they are, they took him quite literally, and people began reciting the poem out loud as they went about their business. And eventually somebody passed Huineng, who knew nothing about this, because as a layperson who wasn't practicing with the community, he was off in the kitchen area threshing rice. So he heard this and asked, "Where did that appear?" And the monk explained. Huineng said, "Please show me where it's written." So he brought him to the wall. Huineng said, "I'm illiterate. Please read this for me." And he did. Huineng said, "I would like to respond. Could you write it for me?" The monk made fun of him, saying, "You're an illiterate layperson who hasn't even taken any precepts. What might you have to offer?" Huineng said, "In the Buddha mind, is there literacy or illiteracy or lay people or monks?" And because there was really nothing to say to that, the monk felt upbraided and said, "Yes, please tell me what to write." And he said, "Bodhi has no tree, clear mirror has no stand, originally nothing, where could dust land?" So the first poem points to how to practice. The second poem, in a way, points to our fundamental nature, which in one way is the reason for practicing, and in another way is what we find when we practice. Hanshan brings forth something similar generations later, asking Fengang, "The old mirror isn't polished, how can it reflect a candle?" So things being what they are, the old mirror refers to fundamental nature, but also maybe is a way of Hanshan referring to himself. I'm not finished yet. Sometimes you get those kind of images that point in multiple directions. So he brings forth the question, if it's not polished, how can it reflect? I'm imagining many of us feel the same way about our practice. I'm not finished yet. How could I possibly be clear? Never mind moment to moment. I would just like one moment, please. Fengang's response is the way that people spoke to each other those days. Not all the time, but we don't engage typically in this kind of imagistic conversation. And yet, to me, it really captures the reflection that Hanshan is looking for, but maybe he doesn't see it. So Fengang says, a jar of ice has no shadow. A monkey gropes for the moon and the water. So in this, we have an image of complete transparency, which maybe has to do something with the mirror that already doesn't need polishing. And a monkey gropes for the moon and the water is an image of entire delusion. We use the term monkey mind. I'm presuming it wasn't coined in English-speaking countries, but that sense of reaching for something that's attractive in a place where it doesn't even exist, and then being disappointed that not only has it slipped through your fingers, but it's not even there, is something about this mind of delusion. So if the mirror is going to reflect something, that's all of it. And in fact, if we look in the sutras or the teachings of the ancients, certainly there's a respect for both consciousness and our fundamental nature. Hanshan protests, this is not reflecting the candle, please explain. So he wants to know, show me. And Fengang says, the 10,000 goodnesses are not in the future, what teaching can I express? So this is returning things to the source. It's an expression of confidence that I think in some ways all good teaching has that. The question and the clarity both reside in the questioner. And to look for the clarity in the teacher is like a monkey groping for the moon and the water. Fengang, being who he is, doesn't want to support that kind of delusional effort. So the 10,000 goodnesses are not in the future. What teaching can I express suggests you find it, you have it, I won't be a thief. In fact, perhaps if he were to say more, he would be breaking all the precepts simultaneously. Certainly the precept of stealing, but then also the precept against lying, and the precept against maybe being self-important, so being seduced and committing misconduct and lust, or being intoxicated with what you mistake for your own wisdom, and using intoxicants to induce heedlessness. And even more serious is killing the spirit of practice. So Fengang took the precepts. He doesn't seem to be inclined to break them. And Shutang, to sum it all up, says, because I've got it. Now, he didn't say he took it from you. And he didn't say you didn't have it, you don't have it either. But he's making a bold statement to poke at the whole case. My commentary is this. There's a title, a poem, footnotes, and a commentary. So I'll read the poem, the title, then I'll read the poem and the footnotes, and then the commentary. Title is, oh my, they can hear you scream in space. Fengang and Hanshan leave each other deaf. No wonder they seek each other's company. The commentaries, Fengang and Hanshan, there's not another who can scream without opening their mouth. Leave each other deaf, such a pity. They can't believe their ears. No wonder The world is vast and wide, naturally full of wonder. They seek each other's company. Yet, why is it the empty ones also seek affirmation? My commentary on the whole matter is, a jar of ice extinguishes a jar of liquor. Of all in the world, only these two keep the precepts. So I would encourage us to keep the precepts in this manner, and please recognize diligent effort doesn't mean putting something in place that wasn't there from the beginning. Thank you.